Lando Norris took pole in Hungary by just 12 thousandths of a second, driving a McLaren fitted with a new upgrade package. But now, that tiny advantage is being connected to a much bigger claim about Oscar Piastri, his race, and a supposed failure that may not have happened the way people think. Because the available evidence confirms the upgrade. It confirms Norris's astonishingly narrow pole. But it does not confirm that Piastri suffered a Hungarian Grand Prix retirement, or that Norris's new parts exposed the cause of one. And that changes the entire story. Was McLaren's upgrade really the missing technical clue, or has one dramatic theory grown faster than the facts supporting it? Subscribe to the channel. To understand why this theory spread so quickly, we need to separate what McLaren actually changed from what people assumed happened afterward. The confirmed part is simple. McLaren arrived in Hungary with an upgrade package for the MCL40. Lando Norris then took pole position by only 12 thousandths of a second. That margin is almost impossible to feel. Blink once, and more time has already passed. Yet in Formula 1, 12 thousandths can separate control from disappointment, confidence from doubt, and one side of the garage from the other. That is why the upgrade immediately became the center of attention. When a new part appears and one driver produces a result that close, fans naturally search for a connection. They want to know what changed, where the time came from, and whether both cars received exactly the same benefit. But this is where the first major misunderstanding begins. An upgrade does not automatically transform a car. It does not guarantee that both drivers will feel the same improvement. And it certainly does not prove that a later problem on the other car was caused by that upgrade. Think of two people wearing the same new running shoes. One may feel faster immediately. The other may struggle because the balance feels unfamiliar, the fit is slightly different, or the conditions expose a weakness the first runner never experiences. The shoes are the same. The result is not. Formula 1 upgrades can work in a similar way. A new aerodynamic package may give the car more grip in one type of corner, but it can also change how the car feels under braking, how quickly the tires reach their ideal temperature, and how confidently the driver can attack. Those changes may be small, but at the Hungaroring, small changes become enormous. The circuit is narrow, technical, and relentless. One corner leads almost directly into another. A driver who loses confidence in the first part of a sequence can carry that problem through the next several turns. There is nowhere to hide. And that matters because Norris and Oscar Piastri do not always need the same feeling from the car. One driver may prefer a sharper front end, meaning the car reacts immediately when the steering wheel turns. The other may need more stability at the rear, especially when braking and entering a corner. Neither preference is wrong. But an upgrade can move the car toward one feeling and away from another. That does not mean McLaren deliberately helped one driver. It means development is complicated. A part that improves the car in the computer, in the wind tunnel, and across the average lap can still create a different experience inside each cockpit. And here is what most people miss. When Norris took pole by 12 thousandths, that result did not prove the upgrade had created a huge advantage. It proved the entire package was competitive enough to place him at the front by the smallest possible margin. That distinction matters. Because 12 thousandths is not domination. It is precision. It is one braking point. One cleaner corner exit. One moment of confidence. Perhaps even one tiny mistake avoided. So when people connect that qualifying result to Piastri's supposed retirement, they may be combining two separate stories into one dramatic explanation. The first story is confirmed. McLaren brought upgrades, and Norris delivered pole. The second story requires evidence that the available source does not provide. There is no confirmed explanation linking those parts to a Hungarian Grand Prix retirement for Piastri. There is no confirmed technical failure described. And there is no confirmed statement showing that Norris's upgrade exposed the cause. But that absence of proof has not stopped the theory from becoming attractive. Why? Because the theory feels complete. One driver receives the headline result. The other appears to suffer. A new package sits between them. It sounds like cause and effect. But Formula 1 rarely gives us answers that clean. A driver can struggle because of setup, because of tire temperature, because of traffic, because of damage, because of strategy, because of a mechanical issue unrelated to the upgrade, or because several small problems appear at the same time. That is why engineers do not judge a package from one lap, one result, or one dramatic comparison. They study data from both cars. They compare corner speeds. They examine braking traces. They look at steering inputs, tire behavior, ride height, and how the car responds as fuel burns away. The audience sees a winner and a loser. The team sees thousands of signals. And one of those signals may eventually explain why the two McLarens appeared to follow different paths. But until that evidence is made public, the upgrade itself cannot be treated as the culprit. In fact, there is another possibility. The upgrade may have revealed nothing about a failure. It may have revealed something more uncomfortable about the drivers. Norris may simply have adapted to the package faster. That would not mean Piastri lacked pace. It would mean the new balance gave Norris a feeling he trusted immediately, allowing him to find the final fraction of performance when qualifying reached its most demanding moment. 12 thousandths. That is all it took. And once Norris secured pole, every later difference between the two cars became easier to interpret as part of the same story. But easy explanations are often dangerous. They encourage people to stop asking questions. Was the package identical on both cars? Were the setups the same? Did both drivers receive the same level of confidence from the new balance? Did any later problem come from the upgrade, or merely happen during the same weekend? Those are not small details. They are the entire case. Because before we can say Norris's upgrade exposed the real cause of anything, we need to identify what was actually exposed. A weakness in the car. A difference in setup. A problem with adaptation. Or simply a story created from two events that looked connected from the outside. And the next clue lies in the difference between an upgrade that makes a car faster and an upgrade that makes one driver feel faster. The difference between making a car faster and making a driver feel faster may sound tiny. It is not. In Formula 1, confidence is performance. A car can produce more grip on paper, more downforce in simulation, and better numbers inside the factory. But if the driver cannot predict what the car will do, that theoretical advantage becomes almost useless. The stopwatch does not reward potential. It rewards trust. And this is where Norris's qualifying result becomes more revealing. He did not take pole by a comfortable margin. He took it by 12 thousandths of a second. That means the decisive advantage may not have come from one enormous technical gain. It may have come from Norris understanding the upgraded car just slightly better at the exact moment it mattered most. One corner approached with more confidence. One braking zone attacked a fraction later. One steering correction avoided. Across an entire qualifying lap, those tiny moments can decide everything. But they can also create a misleading picture. From the outside, Norris's pole can make the upgrade look perfectly successful. Inside McLaren, the reality could have been far more complicated. A new package changes the way air moves around the car. That can affect how strongly the car turns, how stable it feels under braking, and how the balance changes between slow and fast corners. For a casual viewer, the car may look almost identical. For the driver, it can feel completely different. Imagine moving every piece of furniture in your home by only a few inches. Nothing has disappeared. Nothing has been replaced. But when you walk through the room in the dark, every step suddenly feels uncertain. That is what an unfamiliar balance can do to a driver. The car still has speed. The grip is still there. But the driver must learn where that grip begins, where it ends, and how quickly it can disappear. Norris may have found those limits earlier. That is a possible interpretation, not a confirmed explanation. The available source confirms the upgrade and the 12 thousandths pole margin. It does not provide the detailed engineering data needed to prove why Norris found that final fraction, or whether Piastri experienced a different balance. But the distinction matters because it changes how we understand the entire weekend. If the upgraded car naturally matched Norris's driving style, his result may have been more than a simple display of speed. It may have been evidence of immediate compatibility. And compatibility is one of the most powerful advantages a driver can have. Some drivers need a car that rotates sharply when they enter a corner. Others prefer a more stable rear, giving them confidence to brake hard without feeling the car move beneath them. An upgrade can shift that balance. Not enough for the audience to notice, but enough for one driver to gain confidence while the other begins searching for answers. That does not prove the upgrade harmed Piastri. It does not prove there was a failure. And it does not prove the two drivers were using identical specifications or setups, because the attached material does not confirm those details. Still, it opens a much more important question. What happens when a team improves the car overall, but one driver extracts the improvement faster? The answer can affect an entire race weekend. Qualifying position changes strategy. Strategy changes traffic. Traffic changes tire temperatures. Tire temperatures change how aggressively a driver can attack. One small advantage at the beginning can grow into several advantages later. That is why Norris's pole was not just a single lap. It shaped everything that followed. Starting ahead gives a driver cleaner air, meaning there is less disturbed airflow coming from another car. That helps the car behave more predictably. It also gives the team more strategic freedom. A driver at the front can often focus on controlling the race. A driver behind may need to attack, defend, or react to other teams. And suddenly, two drivers in similar machinery are living completely different races. That is where simple comparisons become dangerous. People look at the final outcomes and assume the car created them. But the starting position may have created the conditions. The conditions may have changed the strategy. And the strategy may have amplified a difference that began with only 12 thousandths of a second. That number keeps returning for a reason. It reminds us how little separated success from a completely different story. Had Norris lost those 12 thousandths, the upgrade might have been judged differently. The headlines might have focused on what McLaren lacked. The questions might have turned toward missed potential instead of technical superiority. But because Norris took pole, the entire package was immediately framed as a breakthrough. And once that frame exists, every problem on the other side of the garage can look connected. This is how a theory becomes persuasive. First, the upgrade arrives. Then Norris produces the headline result. Then attention shifts toward Piastri. People begin asking whether the same package created two different outcomes. The sequence feels logical. But a logical sequence is not the same as evidence. There may have been different setups. There may have been different responses to tire conditions. There may have been unrelated race circumstances. There may have been no technical link at all. The source does not establish one. And that missing link is the most important part of the story. Because the claim is not merely that Norris performed better. The claim is that his upgrade exposed the real cause of Piastri's retirement. To support that, we would need a confirmed retirement, a confirmed cause, and evidence connecting that cause to the upgrade. The available material provides none of those three elements. That does not make the discussion meaningless. It makes the real story more subtle. Norris's result may have exposed how quickly one driver can unlock a new package. It may have exposed how qualifying margins can reshape an entire race. And it may have exposed how easily technical speculation grows when two teammates experience different outcomes. But that is not the same as exposing the cause of a mechanical failure. And this is where the pressure inside McLaren becomes much more interesting. Because even without a confirmed technical problem, a performance gap between teammates can influence development. Engineers naturally listen closely to the driver who is extracting the best results. That driver's feedback can begin shaping future setup decisions. Future updates may move further in the same direction. And what begins as one successful weekend can slowly become the design path of the entire team. That creates an uncomfortable possibility for Piastri. Not that McLaren is deliberately choosing Norris. There is no evidence of that in the source. The deeper possibility is that performance itself begins making the choice. If Norris adapts faster, delivers the stronger result, and gives clearer feedback about the upgraded package, the team may naturally build on what worked. That is how development momentum begins. One driver feels comfortable. That driver produces the reference lap. The engineers use that lap to understand the car. The next setup starts from the same foundation. Then the gap can grow, even if the original difference was almost invisible. It is like taking the wrong turn by only a few feet at the beginning of a long journey. At first, both paths look almost identical. Miles later, they can lead to completely different places. And now the real tension becomes clear. Was Norris's pole simply the product of one exceptional lap? Or was it the first sign that McLaren's development direction had begun moving naturally toward his strengths?